I want you to take a moment and picture this. It's the deep dark of December. It's 2 a.m., the kids are finally asleep, and you're a gacha degenerate who has burned out on a lot of other titles. So you cave and finally start out another game that is constantly hyped up. And so you find yourself booting up Girls Frontline 2 for the first time. The opening cinematic hits and you're immediately hooked. The character designs, stunning. The music, a banger. The premise, a post-apocalyptic world where you command a squad of military-grade android soldiers in XCOM-style combat that for some reason, it was absolutely necessary to build them with full female reproductive system. That's pretty sus, but okay. I'm thinking this is it. This is the game that's going to make me break past my burnout, or so I thought. But first, a word from our sponsor. Do you like orcs, or elves, brutal barbarians, or horrible legions of the undead? Well then do I have a game for you. Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based RPG and champion builder with numerous types of content. Campaigns, dungeons, raid bosses, PvP, and more can all be accessed for free in this game. I recently unlocked the Hydra clan boss, and I gotta say, this thing has been absolutely kicking my butt. I think Raid's going a little crazy right now because in their latest update, they're giving a ton away for free. If you sign up with my link in the description, you'll get the free epic champion Zargala on your account after completing the tutorial for the game. And then after reaching account level 15, you'll get the supporter Yugo, who's a great cleanser and debuffer for your account. And now these are two great epic champions, but what about some legendaries? Now, when you start a new raid account, it's going to trigger the Alice Chase event, where after logging in for 7 days, you'll get the free legendary champion Alice the Wanderer on your account. But that's not all. For the first time ever, Raid is giving away a free legendary Void champion for new Raid players. From March 5th to March 31st, you can use the code Supreme6 to get another legendary champion, Supreme Gallic, on any new Raid account. In partnership with Raid, I also started a new Raid account and a channel that you can find in the link in the description. Now, a lot of people ask me, Connor, how can I support the channel? How can I support you? Downloading Raid and giving it a try is a great way how you can help support me and what I do here. Sign up with my link in the description or in the pinned comment to this video to get your free champions today. Just in case you were wondering, I wrote this review before getting a sponsor for this video, so it has nothing to do with the review itself, but let's continue. I grinded out as much currency as I could to pull on the standard banner and hoped and prayed for Sabrina, and then this happened. Wait, is she the shotgun user? Isn't that Sabrina? For culinary research? Yeah! She's so adorable. I don't know if shotgun users are even good. Oh my gosh. That's right, I got her and I was pretty excited. But as icing on the cake, I was greeted by this pleasant surprise shortly after. Macchiato's up for 16 days. I feel like if we farm this game out, I feel like we can actually, we got a pretty good chance here. Let's do a couple temples. Maybe we can get lucky in a Macchiato. Let's see. First temple, could you imagine? Could you imagine? If you think about it, I have actually done 60 pulls and not actually gotten it. So statistically speaking, it's a pretty good chance. Oh, no! No way! Okay, is this the game of... Wait, is this game of 50-50? I don't know what the other characters' intros are. I don't know who the other characters are. What is happening? Wait, I think it is. No! Let's go. That's crazy. That's crazy. On pull 5. Pull 5. That's insane. That's right. Early. I got Macchiato early on the account and I was absolutely stoked about that. And having those two characters plus the additional legendaries you get from the missions early on in the game, on top of another free legendary that was being given away for free at the time, I was pretty much set at the start of the game. But to be honest, it's not just because I had some SSRs out the gate, because a lot of the SRs are useful too. Even if you have bad luck, it's not that big a deal because of the utility of those SR characters. For example, I started using Sharky and Cold Fiend to round up my team and it worked out really well. The first few missions are smooth. The real time with pause combat felt fresh at first, and I really wanted to try something different from a traditional turn-based or action gameplay, and it was hitting the mark. I loved the tactical depth, positioning my units, timing their abilities, and watching them unleash hell on the enemy. It's satisfying. I'm thinking, okay, this could be the next big thing, but then things started to unravel. As I get deeper into the game, I notice something off. The combat, while fun at first, starts to feel repetitive. After playing for a little while, you're introduced to the mechanic that can be a benefit and a curse of a lot of games: auto combat. After this happened, it was the beginning of the end. Missions began to blur together, same objectives, same enemies, same strategies. It was like eating the same meal every day. And to top that off, I started to become so used to auto combat that I stopped paying attention to the gameplay mechanics at all, and just let the game do its thing. Because of this, I started to lose interest. Before you start complaining in the comments against me for using auto combat, you're wrong. You can't be mad at somebody who gets frustrated or disinterested in a game after using the mechanics of the game. If you have a game that is supposed to be based around tactical combat that leverages auto combat for auto farming stages for materials, that's not a me problem, that's a game design problem. By the time I hit mid-game, I'm starting to feel the grind. My attention is slipping more and more, and I'm spending hours leveling up my units, grinding for resources, so I can place my units and let them auto and do the same thing over and over again. And this really started to grate on me. The story started out really strong, and to be honest, still incorporates multiple cinematics throughout that are done really well, but eventually my appreciation for that fizzled too. It feels like running on a treadmill. You're putting in the effort, but it's not really going anywhere. So let's level here. There's nothing bad about Girls Frontline 2, but there's also nothing in here that really makes it stand out as exceptional for me. For example, the gacha is what you've come to expect. It doesn't reinvent the wheel here. It's the same system we've come to expect from all other titles like Honkai Star Rail or Wuthering Waves. So if you're already numb to the gacha grind in other games, this one won't surprise you. But it also won't win you over with anything new or innovative either. And then there's the UI. Oh boy. The UI feels like it was pulled out of 2020 from a more Gen 1 gacha game. It's clunky and overwhelming. Navigating the menus is a chore, and I'm constantly second guessing where to click or where to farm the right resources. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. Frustrating and time consuming. The characters look great, but for some reason the fan service is a bit too much for me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think it's connected to some of the outfits and the dorm interactions. It's the same issue I had with Snowbreak Containment Zone, which led me to drop that too. And look, I'm a fan of Nikke, and yeah, I know that's ironic to be a fan of the game that's kind of known for fan service, but it's just different here. I think the dorm interactions, it's just a bridge too far for me personally. And Nikke, well, has a well drawn out story that actually kept me engaged, unlike Girls Frontline 2. Another element that hit me is I play a few different gacha games to hit different kinds of gameplay, and I'm quite invested into Nikke already, and it fills that role for me for an auto gameplay in my gacha rotation. I didn't want another auto game. I wanted something more involved, like XCOM. But once I started using the auto mechanic in Girls Frontline 2, there was nothing there that would cause me to drop Nikke and move on to Girls Frontline 2. Because the way you farm materials is basically reliant on the auto combat system, there's no avoiding it without needing to play the same material farming stage over and over and over again. Character progression is fairly typical too. You've got your character leveling, you've got ascensions for getting duplicates of the characters. One thing that's a little bit different is your gear system or artifact system that you would know in other gacha titles is centered around the attachments on the weapons you get for the characters, while weapons themselves are also pulled on the gacha. The mechanics here are nothing new, and they're going to be exactly what you expect from some kind of like character building gacha game of any style of combat. So again, nothing here screams anything unique. Yes, there are a variety of game modes, but when you become so reliant on the autoplay mechanic, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Nothing feels cool and unique if every single time you go into a mission, you just set your team, click auto, and walk away. It's the same experience every time. Girls Frontline 2 released a year earlier on CN, and to be honest, if it had released on Global at the same time, I probably would have felt different. But it's like the delayed release in Global made the game feel dated literally on arrival. It kind of feels like the game just arrived a little too late for me. If you're a diehard fan of the first game, you might find some enjoyment here, but for everyone else, it's hard to recommend when there are so many better options out there and some more powerhouse gachas on the horizon. If you want to fill your time, it's not bad, but I don't see it sticking around for most people. Now, maybe this is an effect of not getting to the complete endgame of a gacha game, which is a fair critique, but I'm sorry, if I can play your game for over 2 weeks and still not really feel like I'm that engaged because of the auto battling mechanics that exist within the game, then I don't know, I think at that point you've just failed to hook me. I know people who like gacha games are also similar to anime fans who like to say, you need to give it at least, 10 to 12 episodes before you decide if it's good or not. Well, I've given it way more than that. I gave it a full 2 weeks of my time, and I still was not convinced to stick around. So where does this leave us? Do I recommend Girls Frontline 2? Like I said, it isn't a bad game. It's just not a great one either. There's nothing really here that would cause me to make it a mainstay in my gacha rotation. The art style and tactical gameplay are solid, but the reliance on autoplay for campaign and farming stages, along with an outdated menu and UI, it just holds it back. And I understand while I played an earlier build of this game than at the time of the release, compared to now, to my knowledge, there hasn't been many overhauls in this department, but maybe I'm wrong. Look, if there's room in your existing rotation for a new game and you want to try something different that isn't action combat or a classic turn-based game like HSR, then you could have a good time with Girls Frontline 2. Although HSR has its own issues at the moment, and well, we'll see how long that's sticking around. Rip Castress. So maybe you will have a slot for Girls Frontline 2. But even with that considered, again, if you're looking for other games to break the mold and try something different, then there's a lot out there. Wizardry or Limbus Company have been getting a lot of attention recently, and both hit the turn-based combat model of games, so it really could still scratch that itch if that's what you're looking for. Look, as a gamer with a lot of real-world responsibilities, I don't really like to stick around with games that I don't actually have a lot of fun with. I want something that I'm having a lot of fun with, feeling like it's respecting my time, and I'm feeling like I'm making good progress in, and that it's just an overall rewarding experience. And to be honest, I wasn't getting that from Girls Frontline 2, and so I dropped it. I understand this is probably really going to tick off the Girls Frontline 2 fan base, but sorry, I can't help it that the autoplay just completely turned me off of the whole thing when I wanted something more. And if it takes more than 2 weeks to get to the really good combat or gameplay, then I don't know, maybe it takes too long. Let me know what you think in the comments down below if you disagree with my takes, if you think I'm just out of touch and you think this is overall really ridiculous, or if you actually agreed with me in your experience with the game. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But that's going to be it for this one, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to try out Raid's Shadow Legends, and I'll see you next time.